channel, thank you so much for being here. And if you're new here, hello. My name is Ashley. I run things here at Oh Crow Gal. We got a tag video, friends. I've said this before, but when I first started my channel, I so badly wanted to do tag videos that no one would tag me. Like, I would just do them myself. I love tag videos. Here's why. You guys know I love talking, and a tag video is essentially just like structured talking, and I enjoy it. The Virgo in me enjoys that it's organized, there are questions, there's direction, and I just get to gab and talk. So today I was tagged by Megan over at Loserly VSG. I mentioned her in my like current favorite YouTubers video. I'll link that video in the cards, and I'll link her channel below, but she tagged me in this. It's just a random questions tag. There are 30 questions I'm gonna answer, and I feel like this came at kind of the perfect time. I've been thinking about doing some type of like get to know me video, or kind of like my kind of like not weight loss story, but like kind of like just my story when it comes to like getting healthy and my weight and things like that, because I have been getting a lot of new subscribers. So I feel like this is perfect. I was tagged in this. It was fate, if you will. So let's just go ahead and jump in. I also really like these questions. I did watch Megan's video this morning, and I thought to myself, her and I have a lot of similar answers when it comes to some of these questions, which is kind of interesting. But I have my list of questions, I have my sparkling water, and I'm ready. All right, number one and number two kind of go hand in hand. The first one's where did you grow up? The second one's where do you currently live? The answer is the same. I grew up in the San Diego area, and that's where I live now. I've mentioned before that my husband and I moved in 2011. We moved up to Seattle, and we were there 6 years. We came back after I had Daisy, and we definitely plan on moving back to Seattle. Like, San Diego, I think one of the biggest things moving to Seattle taught me was to not take, you know, weather and location for granted. And I like cherish San Diego as a city more than I did like prior to moving. That's kind of what it taught me, was to like not take the sun for granted, not take living close to the beach for granted. Because when it's all you know, I feel like you don't value it as much as when it's like, it wasn't taken away from me, but you know what I mean, like taken away from you. And I love San Diego, and I think it was such a good place to grow up. There's nothing like having the sunshine 365 days a year, but we know that we belong in the Pacific Northwest, and that's where we want to be. And that's actually what we have learned since moving back, is that we do want to end up there. So we have like a 2 to 4 year plan, somewhere in and around there where we will be going back up to Seattle. Who is your first best friend? So my first best friend that I can like remember was probably Christine. I met her in kindergarten. Funny story, actually. Met her in kindergarten when I was 5. We were like BFF from the start. Our moms got really close too. They were really good friends. And then her mom actually started dating my uncle. And when we were in middle school, they got married, and so now she's my cousin, which is really neat. It's like a cousin and a best friend all rolled into one. How tall are you? I'm 5'7". All right, dogs or cats? Dogs by a mile. I am not a cat fan at all. They scare me, they terrify me. I constantly think they're gonna like lunge at me, scratch me, bite me. This kind of all stems from my grandma. She had a cat that was just mean, frankly. He was just like the worst cat. Not to mention his name was Puss, which is like the worst name. It's supposed to be a play on like Puss in Boots. But he was so scary and so mean. Like, I remember sleeping over there as a kid. I would not get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom because I was so scared he was gonna be like waiting in the hallway to attack me. My grandma would have like scratches on her arm, or there'd be like blood running down her leg. We'd be like, what happened? She would say, you know, oh, I like went into the pantry and I opened the pantry door and he didn't like that and he scratched me. Like, I just don't have I have no good cat stories from my life, so dog person by a mile. All right, the next one is funniest moment throughout high school. I don't really have one. I mean, y'all, I think the funniest moment was just the fact that I was not into it. Like, I was there to get a job done, which was get my diploma. I was there to clock in and clock out. I did not care for high school. I always say like, oh, I hated high school, which is really dramatic. I didn't hate it. I was a great student. I had friends, but it was like, I was there to just like get shit done and then go home. So much so that my senior year, I had home period, first period, and then I took like a occupational class where essentially like if you had a job, which I did, worked at a movie theater, you didn't have to go to like your latter, like 5th and 6th period. So I literally only went to school from like 9:30 to 12:10 and I was done. Like I was not into it. I never went to a dance. I never went to any dance. I didn't go to prom. I never went to a football game. I just was like, when are we done with this? And I don't regret it for a minute. Not my parents, because my parents like got it. They were like, we know Ashley, like we get it. But I had like relatives and especially kind of like family friends say things to me like, oh, you're not going to this, or oh, are you sure you don't want to go, or you know, when you're older, you're gonna wish that you went. Hell no. I'm so happy I never went to any of that crap. I saved my parents a bunch of money and I don't regret any of it. What year were you born? Good old 1987. Are you in or have you gone to college? Yes. I did go to college. I don't know if this is popular, if this is a thing like everywhere, but I went to junior college first and got credits there I went there for 2.5 years, and then I transferred to like an actual 4-year university, and I got a degree in liberal studies with an arts and education emphasis. What is your favorite drink? Like, there's so many drinks. I mean, coffee, right? Y'all know I'm also like obsessed with any type of bubbles, whether we're talking about sparkling water or Prosecco. So probably, I mean, that's pretty much my like little drink food group, if you will. Coffee, sparkling water, Prosecco. Done deal. What is your spirit animal and why? I don't know. I'm not really into like that type of thing. I can tell you my favorite animal is a panda bear. You're wearing perfume, what scent is it? I don't know if my favorites video will go up before or after this one, but I just got a new perfume by the brand Floral Street. And it's like a vanilla sandalwood, kind of like deep musky scent. So I've been wearing that a lot lately. I really like the original Tory Burch perfume, and the, what is it? Stella McCartney Peony is one of my favorites, and the Nest Citrine perfume. Like all of those perfumes are like hands down fabulous. Tea or coffee? Coffee. I don't understand tea. It's like glorified water. I don't get it. Like I'm into like a chai tea latte because I put a bunch of creamer in it and I feel like it actually has flavor, but like just tea in general, no comprendo. What are your life goals? I used to get really like introspective about this type of question, like what do you want to accomplish in your life? What are your life goals? And it would kind of always frustrate me because I would just be like, I don't know, like I want to do a lot of things. But honestly, the older I get, of course I have like places I want to travel to and like, you know, where I see my YouTube channel going and goals in kind of like that sense. But in terms of just life goals, I just want to be happy. I want to be happy and I want my family to be happy. I want to be healthy and I want my family to be healthy. That will make me the most content. It's important to have, you know, actual like tangible physical goals that you can strive for. But if we're just talking about like, what do you wish to happen in your life when you look back, what things do you hope that you can accomplish? Like, I just want to be happy and healthy. What sports do you play or have you played? Don't play any sports. I have mentioned this before, but I hate physical activity. So when I was a kid, my parents were like, well, you have to, you know, I mean, I did the whole thing, you know, when I was like in elementary school, they'd be like, okay, pick soccer or basketball, you know, and I do like the 2-month thing of soccer, like that type of thing. But in terms of like sports I played long term, I did get into tennis for a while. I played tennis for about 5 years, and then I was just like over it, and my parents were like, you have to pick something. And again, not into really anything physical, so I picked bowling. So I was on a bowling league. I was on a bowling league for about 3 years, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I did it with my sister and my cousins. We were on like separate leagues, in separate leagues, and we would compete against other teams, and like it was really fun. You still got like the camaraderie and like the competition going on. You just didn't have to like run around, which is my kind of sport. Have any books you read changed your life? I read this question somewhere else, or maybe it was like on Instagram or something, some type of survey thing where it was like, what books have you read that made an impact on your life? I would love to sit here and say that I read this really profound book or this biography or something, but I just can't get on board with those types of books. I like rom-com books. I've read a lot of Meg Cabot. She's like one of my favorite authors. Those are like, that's what I'm into. I'm into kind of the like rom-com. And then like, I of course read like all the 50 Shades books. I read Twilight when it was out. Like those are the type of books I like. For me, reading is an escape. I use it as like an escapism type thing. When I'm reading the book, I go there in my mind. I go to that city, I go to that town. Like I like envisioning all that stuff. So no, I mean, I guess you could say, one of my really good friends and I, we went to college together, and we actually bonded over like our enjoyment of Twilight. This was obviously like when it first came out. So it changed my life in that sense. Like it brought me friendships, but I can't sit here and say like, I was really inspired by like Barack Obama's memoir, or like, it's just not my jam. All right, what is your, guys, sorry, this like, the light here, it's like midday, so the light might be getting a little funky. What is your favorite movie? I have so many favorite movies, but if I legit have to pick just one, it would definitely be Garden State. I love the premise, I love the acting, the soundtrack. I also like the time in my life when that came out. I get very nostalgic watching that movie, and especially over time, I just feel like it holds up. Who are your favorite YouTubers? So like I mentioned, I did recently put out a video that went over like my current favorite YouTubers. I'm trying to think, some other ones that I like. I enjoy Raw Beauty Christie. I've mentioned her before. She's the one that initially turned me on to keto. She like said it in a video and I was like, what the hell is that? And who else? I really like Kathleen Lights. She's a bigger beauty YouTuber, but I just feel like she's so down to earth and real. I really enjoy her. For the longest time, I was subscribed to a lot of mom vloggers, and I feel like there's this like specific kind of like group of them, and this is not a dig at them, who just have like infinite amounts of, seems to be like infinite amounts of money, like have the best of the best everything, go all out for every single kid's birthday. And again, I'm not like trying to diss them. It's just over the past couple years, I have like, that content to me is like less and less relatable. So I'm still subscribed to some, I'll watch them every now and then. But my desire to like sit down and watch that kind of content has really gone by the wayside, just because it's just not relatable to me. Do you speak any languages, and how well? You would think after taking, I think I took cumulatively 10 years of Spanish. You would think taking Spanish for like a third of my life, I would be able to speak it really well, but that's not the case. I can definitely get by. Like I can have somewhat of like a broken conversation. There's like a Mexican market I've been to a handful of times, and I can, you know, order things and stuff like that. I like kind of eavesdrop on conversations every now and then. We do live in, I mean, San Diego is a very heavily Spanish speaking populated area. And so I'm constantly hearing Spanish being spoken. But do I speak it well? I wouldn't say, well, I guess it says how well. On a scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 4. It's all right. Are you single or taken? Happily taken. What's your idea of a dream date? We're such foodies. My idea of a dream date is going to like a restaurant I've never been to before. Preferably one that's like not super fancy. I love looking at new menus. I love looking at menus before we even go to the restaurant to like see what I think I might want to order. But that's really my idea of a dream date. I don't really, Cernan asked me the other day, like, we didn't have Daisy and he was like, we could go to a movie. I'm like, that's just like not, like sitting in a theater for 2 hours, I feel like I'm wasting time. I know that's silly, but like I would rather watch the movie at home and like be able to like be in my pajamas and eating like junk food on my couch than like be in a movie theater, which is so like not, it's so opposite of how I used to be, but that's how I am now. I literally think of going to a movie as a waste of time. How long was your longest relationship? The one I'm currently in. We've been together for 14 years. How would you describe your fashion sense? I would say that I dress like fashionably, but comfortably. I'm all about comfort. You know, I try to look like put together, but I want to be comfortable. Even when I like dress up to go out, I don't know, to like a really nice dinner or like out with family or something, I'm always in like my comfiest jeans, like maybe a dressier shirt, but one that I'm really comfortable in, and usually like some form of a boot. I'm not a heels person. Like I'll wear booties that have like a little heel, but so I would say like I pride myself on looking, you know, put together, even if I'm just in a t-shirt, but comfort is like, you know, we're comfortable, but we're not looking like homeless. that is my fashion sense. What's your go-to hairstyle? This usually, or letting it air dry. I've been trying to give my hair a break from the blow dryer, so pretty much always this, just because it's easy. How many siblings do you have? I have one younger sister. What's your go-to fast food order? Obviously we don't eat a lot of fast food now. I feel like because we're doing keto, but I feel like even pre-keto, we ate a lot of fast food when like I was in like my early 20s. I felt like, you know, I don't know, twice a week we would be driving through somewhere to get dinner. I will say, before we started this round of keto, which was in January, so like last year, we were hitting Chick-fil-A hard. So in terms of like what my Chick-fil-A order was before we did keto, nuggets and fries for days. Do you use a PC or a Mac? I use a Mac. I know that they're pricey. I know that PCs are really affordable, but I have never in my life used a PC that like operated quickly and efficiently. All right, your most memorable vacation memory. I feel very fortunate, this is like similarly to how Megan answered this question, that I've been on a lot of vacations with my family, but I think for me the most memorable was in I think it was 2015, we all went on a cruise. So like my parents, my sister, myself and Cernan, we all went on a cruise together. It left out of Miami, and we did Puerto Rico, and then like St. Croix, St. Martin, and another one, I can't remember. Anyways, we did that and it was just so much fun. It was also just different because we were all like established adults, you know, at this time. The last time we had taken like a family vacation together, I think I was 18, my sister was 15, so it was just different. It was a blast. We ate all the food, we drank all the drinks, we went ziplining, we did a ropes course. Like, it was just, we shopped till we dropped. It was just the like most fun time, and as of now, like my most memorable vacation memory. What are your morning and evening routines? Morning, I'm up usually like when Daisy gets up, so I'm usually up at 7. I'll get her out of bed at like 7:45. She does breakfast, has some TV time. That's kind of when I get ready. And then evening routine, it's like dependent on if she takes a nap or not. If she doesn't nap, she goes down earlier, which kind of like shifts our whole schedule. If she does take a nap, we will all eat together at like 6-ish, and then just like play games, play with toys, hang out. She has bath, and then we put her down around 8. So obviously both of those routines fully revolve around Daisy. Do you have any bad habits? I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm not a nail biter. Like I don't even, like that's the only like bad habit that comes to mind. I will say what Cernan would consider a bad habit of mine, but it's not even a habit, it's just like what I do, is like my right foot, the foot that I drive with, I never wear a shoe. So this stems from like when I first started learning how to drive. I was in high school, obviously, and we could wear sandals to school, and I found it to be so difficult. I don't like, when I drive, I plant my heel, you know, in the floor mat, and I like pivot from the accelerator to the brake, and I found it so hard to do that with like a flip-flop on. Like I felt like it would just like start sliding off my foot, get in the way of the pedals. It was dangerous. Like it's safer for me to drive with no shoe on, but he would definitely say that's a bad habit. He thinks it's gross. He thinks it's like something's gonna happen to my foot. Like, to me, that's not a habit. That's just like me. Like that's just what I do. But that's kind of like the only thing I could think of that would maybe sort of fall into the bad habit category. Tell us one thing about you that we wouldn't know. Oh, I have one. I don't think I've ever mentioned this on my channel before, but I am obsessed with John Mayer. I love him so much. I love him as a person. I love all of his music. I know all the songs. I know all the words. I've seen him 8 times in concert. I have about 5 t-shirts. I have a picture in my bathroom. It's not like of him. It's like a tour poster. I just think he's like the bee's knees. I've been obsessed with him since high school. I even remember the day I got his first album. This was when burning CDs, if you're old enough to know what that is, was really in, and I had just got done with PE class, had just like changed my clothes, was packing up my backpack, and my friend came over and she's like, hey, burned this CD for you. She gave it to me. I can still picture what the CD looked like because she spelled his name wrong. She spelled it like mayor of a, you know, city. So yeah, he's just like, I follow everything that he's doing. I have all of my notifications turned on for every possible social media platform. Like I always just kind of have tabs on, you know, where he's touring and that type of thing. And I love him. So that's that, 30 questions. Wow, I feel like we moved through that like pretty quickly, pretty good. I also really liked these questions. Sometimes I see these tags and I'm like, those are the dumbest questions I've ever heard. But I feel like these questions were decent. You got to know a little bit more about me. Truly, like if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up because I do think I want to do at least one more Q&A, or like I said in the beginning, like Q&A, or like just story about like me, like my weight and getting healthy and stuff like that. I have not done like anything about kind of like my weight story, if you will, and just kind of like my health journey, I guess you should say. So definitely give it a thumbs up if you like it, and drop me a comment if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. Shout out to Megan for tagging me in this, and I'm gonna tag some people. I'm gonna tag Erin, over at Erin Does the Keto. I'm gonna tag Colette. I'm gonna tag Colette over at, I only say it like that because she hasn't really been uploading lately, but I'm gonna tag Colette over at Coco's Keto Journey, and I'm gonna tag Nassim at Keto Mama. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you on my next one.